Alright, welcome to the next part of the Bikini Bottom Spongebob only playthrough. We're gonna head on over to Rock Bottom now. Never a very friendly place for sponges such as Spongebob. But interestingly enough, this place is actually really good for this playthrough. It's much like Lagoon, as I mentioned. In fact, we've encountered pretty much the exact same situation when everything's said and done. You might be able to guess what I mean by that, but if not, you'll see for yourself by the end of this episode. Hi. You would think these guys would be more of a problem than they are. They're not. In fact, I always thought it was kind of interesting that in the second area of the game, second portion of the game, second third, where you actually have the bubble and you're experimenting with it, introduce an enemy that specifically deflects the bubble if you try to use it on them. In any case, you can get through this area without too much problem as Spongebob because of two things. One, it just happens to not really have much of anything that Sandy is supposed to that Spongebob can't. I don't know why. It's not like the Lagoon where there's really only a small confined area where you're supposed to play as the character that isn't Spongebob. You're supposed to play as Sandy a lot here, you just don't have to. Oop. And you'll oftentimes find I try to save time by destroying sleepy time robots in quick and creative ways. But you'll also find that there's just the fact that Spongebob can get lots of places that Sandy also can in this area through a variety of means. Through doing a variety of tricks, some which are incredibly difficult, mind you, but it works. It's actually surprising, it feels really coincidental. There's also the fact that this level seems to completely ignore the fact that you have the bubble. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the way things worked out, this area was actually developed without really realizing that you're supposed to have the bubble yet. Because there's nothing at any point, any way, shape, or form, I don't think, that actually expects to use the bubble for anything. But first, what we're going to do is, in some certain circular places like this one, and by that I mean like this and one other area, what I like to do is start off by actually going from the very beginning to the very end, by looping around. Because that just gives us 2 points of access to the middle portion of the level, which can be helpful in some cases. In this case, it's not necessary, actually. We can, in fact, progress through this level entirely linearly, but I like to just show off and get to the end the way I did just now by going up the slide as a sponge ball. And then we can do something that's kind of entertaining by heading into the trench of advanced darkness backwards. And we'll come back, of course, for the slide spatula as well. But I always love being able to do something like this. Ta-da! Where you just show up and there's immediately a spatula next to you that you don't have to do any actual work for. Are we done in this area just yet? I don't think we are. You see, there's also a spatula I decided to pick up right here. While we're here, it is something we could save for later when we actually come back to the trench of advanced darkness from the other direction. But I figure I might as well save time. This chuck also annoys me a lot. It's one of the chucks in this game that will, to defend itself, actually start hovering over terrain that you can't get on, well, over the void, essentially. So you can't get underneath it to bubble bash it. For some reason, I have the biggest problem doing a kind of normal melee attack on it. In any case, something's weird here. I found that if you destroy that CB time machine, so what? No. If you destroy that Duplicatotron, it actually makes the enemies you want right here disappear. So what I want to do is I want to do a damage boost. You'll find a lot of damage boosting in the Trench of Advanced Darkness. I want to do that. Because we're supposed to get around to Sandy here, as you may recall, if you've played through this game. But we don't have Sandy, so we need to have our own ways of traveling long distances in the air. And taking damage boost is one of the best ways of doing that. So for now, actually, I did mention that we come through the Trench of Advanced Darkness from the other direction. That was actually wrong, I misremembered, I admit. So we will actually be doing everything in the Trench of Advanced Darkness right now. I could have come to the museum and gone through here, because I can access the museum from that direction as well. But I just figure, since we're here, we'll do everything. It's fun that way. So, just to be spiteful and pick up some shiny objects that will help me later, I get rid of these sleep time robots On top of that, we can actually find not quite a glitch, I suppose, but something interesting here that I always thought was notable. See, if you do this little sequence right here, it saves a little bit of time. Jump to the top. You'll see that something's a little bit different here. If you're not intimately familiar with this game and its level layout, you might not have noticed anything just yet, but you'll see in a moment. For now... Oh, sorry child. There is actually a climb that we do have to pay, unfortunately, because as I look down here, find out you actually can't... That sock doesn't even appear unless you pay the climb. The reason I went to the pause meeting there is to debate whether or not it would be a good idea to just jump straight down and teleport back up, but I decided against it. See, what I want to do...
I've got my eye on yours.
Just to let you know, Plankton. What I want to do here is I want to get to that big platform across from here. As I explained before, the way to do that is really just a damage boost. But there are no enemies here. There are supposed to be enemies here. In fact, you run back here, enemies load there immediately. It's just they weren't there before for some reason. So having activated that little loading zone, now we can actually have the Star Tower help us out. And I believe I've pulled off this jump right here on console before, but it took me so much time. I've always had a hard time doing damage boosts in this area. And this was actually a part in the playthrough where I started experiencing some keyboard difficulties. The button I have bound to jump on my keyboard, which is actually the right arrow key, has started dying. And this particular episode, recording right here, was where that started to show signs of being an issue. So, it doesn't show up in the recording at all because I always just loaded a state when everything went wrong. There were lots of cases where I was trying to jump to do a damage boost and it just didn't work for some reason because it wasn't registering the key input because my key's going bad. In any case. So, this particular platform, this first one, that we're supposed to glide across, actually doesn't require a glide at all, which amuses me greatly. And then from here, things get a little tough. See, not only do you need to work with the issue of having an enemy throw something at us, or attack us in some way to allow us to do a damage boost, we also need to work out the issue that we have moving platforms that we need to worry about the timing of. In that particular case, I actually managed to make the jump, despite the fact that the platform was as far away as possible from where I was starting. It was not easy to do regardless. In any case, so now I need to get back, or, well, I need to get back in some way, either from here or by loading a game, and after taking a taxi, jumping back with the Tower Andrews. What I decided to do here is something kind of weird. It's not something I expect a human to do on console, but I figured it might as well. I can still get back here just by loading a taxi and using a Tower to bounce over here. I decided I might as well get fancy. And if you would please, Chuck. Yeah, a few throws that don't quite work out in my favor. What I am deciding on is this one. I get a big head start. That's a really tricky jump to make. You just barely get enough height at that distance. And look at that. All the lasers. Having proven that lasers are fun and good for you, there we go. We now actually have on the lasers powered. And we can... And what we can do is, aside from activating this laser, to activate the giant laser, to cut down this thing. It's supposed to let us progress to the end of the trench, which we've already done, so it doesn't actually help at all. There's a bit of an issue. What we can do is we can go back to Plankton to claim a reward, because that's how we get the lasers are fun and good for you spatula. Except, for those of you that remember the last episode, it's not last episode, the Goo Lagoon episode, it's a lot like Goo Lagoon. We can do everything in the trench as Spongebob without Bubble or Freeze Bubble. There's no problem whatsoever. Except there's one spatula we can't get because they won't give it to us, despite the fact they fill all the requirements for it. Also, I realized that now that I come up here, despite the fact this wasn't a problem before, now there's actually a Sleepy Time robot here. Then we actually loaded earlier this time, so I just decided to go around the other way. But yes, that poses a problem now. Because if we decide to go to a bus stop and change to Sandy and then talk to Plankton, we would get the golden spatula immediately without any problem. But because Plankton will never give that spatula to SpongeBob, we just can't get it, despite the fact that we can actually fulfill all the criteria to make it appear. It's a very unfortunate situation, but one that we're going to have to deal with. That's the only thing that tarnishes the perfect record that Rock Bottom has in this playthrough. Now, I find it a little odd. This box throws you straight into the line of sight of that Sleepy Time. In any case, Plankton says nothing of any use to us, just like Mr. Krabs did. So we're going to take some revenge on him. And now we can actually worry about taking on Rock Bottom from the beginning, like you're supposed to. Getting into the museum. But there's more stuff to do in this area first. For example, the part that's actually the lattermost part, the final spatula, even though it's not ordered that way on the pause menu, subsiding away, which will also net us a sock if I remember correctly. So you jump off at the right time. Not anything of particular use or note here, other than just deciding to jump off a particular point. But it is kind of fun. Sliding in this game always did manage to be fun for me. It made me appreciate the existence of Sand Mountain. It is barely possible. Not a lot of time to spare, but it is in fact possible to pick up that sock and then get the spatula as well. Getting the box and then getting the spatula, I'm not quite sure about. Man, this part was agonizing, with that timer going down so slowly when I was playing this game at half speed. I was unsure entirely if I was going to get to that in time or not. In any case, now we can actually write getting to the museum that we were supposed to have gone to a very long time ago. But that's not all that there is to do in this area. There is at least one sock to be had, and there's actually a spatula as well, so we're going to worry about that for now. As you've seen before, we can actually get around this area a little bit in ways we're not supposed to get around it, just to save a little bit of time. For example, we can jump up this portion right here to skip the, oh, we're not going to jump up now, but we can jump up that part to skip the just for the duplicator trying to press a button. What I do here is I'm actually looking for the location of a sock that I've forgotten the location of. It's this sock right here, which I never really understood the intention behind in terms of how you're supposed to get here and how you're supposed to get out. So I just end up warping back. So I have to go through this portion with the Sleepy Time robot a multitude of times, which always annoyed me. So I don't like kind of jump on this rock. It's actually surprisingly difficult to jump on top of the rock on the left. I don't know why. Then I can get the jump at the same time, which was actually more consistent than I would like it to be. So that part always annoyed me a bit. In any case, now I can actually jump on up, because we want to be around here. Something around here that we want. Specifically, there is a sock, as well as a painting, and we do a little bit of, well, one sock collecting by jumping in places we're not supposed to jump. But then after that, it's time for good old SpongeBall storage to show up again. Any place there's a SpongeBall, which is very few places, there is fun to be had. In fact, I believe every single time we find a SpongeBall, every area in this game that has a SpongeBall that we find, Bikini Bottom, as well as Rock Bottom, as well as Downtown, I think those are all the areas where you have a SpongeBall, except for Flying Dutchman's Graveyard, I guess, in one place. With that one exception, there's stuff to do with the SpongeBall that allows you to break some things. In this case, what we do is we use SpongeBall storage with that trampoline, bounce across here, use that air to get up to this spatula, and ta-da! Shiny objects, a spatula. Nice and simple. I believe that's everything you need to do right here with this particular area, so I can jump on down. But we're going to need that SpongeBall one more time, just one more time. Surprisingly enough, there's actually nothing that you need Sandy for in this area with regards to those rooftops you're supposed to jump across as Sandy when you swing across the hook, so you can actually get to the museum the first time. No socks or anything like that up there at all. It's odd. We're going to use the SpongeBall, and as seen before, you can actually do a double jump after getting out of SpongeBall form, even if you're in midair, which lets us do this. Double check, and ta-da! Oh, we're actually at the museum now. Then from there, we're going to have to run back in the museum and doing everything that entails, but that'll actually be all that's left of Rock Bottom. We have Rock Bottom pretty much conquered, which makes me very happy. I see no way of working around the last issue, it's not an issue not being able to accomplish something, it's just kind of as it is. The game won't reward it to us.
Iron those pants right.
Pay attention, kid. This is serious stuff.
Yes, sir.
That's where you exit.
I
Oh,
won't
damn.
let you
Whoa.
down.
Okay, so for some reason,
What are you waiting for?
you're invincible when you are talking to somebody. For a short period of time, too. It actually lasts for about a 2-second or so period after you stop talking to somebody, which is not really useful at all, except for right here. It lets you pick up that sock without dying, which isn't really necessary in any way, but hey, it saves a little bit of time, so might as well. I wish there was a fast way to do this part, but I don't know of any such way. Rather, if you want to be fast, what you would do is you'd actually clip through the wall right here, as Sandy. Clip through the laser wall that's currently being used for progressing. But oh well, that's not what we can do right now. I did always have an appreciation for this area and how it has all these pictures from the show and concept art. I always wonder what that photo is right now, actually, on the right. Not the one of the stake, but the other one of buildings or whatever it was. I just wondered if it was actually like a studio or something that this game was developed in or the show was made in. And believe me, it is hard to actually adjust to the timing. Well, also you can do that and you don't die. But it is hard to adjust to the timing of those, what would you call them, electric fields of some sort? When you're playing this game at half speed instead of full speed, you're used to playing full speed, because you have to wait so much longer than you would think. Twice as long, and it's hard to gauge that properly. In any case, as before, I decided to just take out the super times because they're a little bit annoying to me, and they never some trying to shot shiny objects. You can quite literally get the jump on them, which is nice. I have some patience this time though. And something that always sound kind of weird about this area is, as you press the buttons, I don't like taking damage, so I don't actually take the damage to hit the button here. But whenever you hit a button, enemies instantly appear right around you. I never really got that. That's not very... that's kind of transparent in terms of how the game works. That's not something you do in a game usually. This game usually has explanations for things being spawned and whatnot. Here though, you just hit a button and suddenly enemy! And you hear enemies going aggro the instant you press the button too, because they just appeared. In fact, if you move the camera right, I'm pretty sure you can see them appear out of the thin air. Like this bomb bot wasn't here just a moment ago. Those flotters weren't there. That flotter wasn't there. Odd to me. Very odd to me. In any case, now all that's left to do is actually collect the rest of the things in the upper levels of the museum. Starting with, of course, a spatula. There's more to do than that. Unfortunately, we actually do have to do everything in this area because the last thing you want to pick up here, which is a sock, is actually at the very end. So we're going to have to progress through all this to Spongebob, despite the fact that I always found the museum to be a very unfun place to go through as Spongebob. But, as mentioned before, we can do everything here. There's nothing we're going to miss out on, so at least you don't need to be frustrated by our inability to complete it. Mostly just because there's not much in the way of things in this area that Spongebob can't normally do. You are excited to play as Sandy to pick up a couple things, but really, those are things that for the most part you can just worry about and solve by being smart with jumping from the right places. But what you can also do is you can damage boost that one sock that's on the left side of the screen right now. There we go, right in the center now. So that's why I leave this Chuck behind. I actually decided to try to use him to damage boost stuff over there. But I can't actually get him to aggro, which bothers me. So I tried to use that Chuck at the bottom right then. Except, as I was doing that, I accidentally got hit by the monsoon. And lo and behold, that actually gave me the exact trajectory I needed to pick up that sock, so it worked out. And I take the rare opportunity to actually use a bubble bounce on Chuck because I figure I might as well. It'll give me a chance to do that. I like using odd attacks on enemies that you wouldn't usually use them on. I did have mentioned before that I really wish I got this on camera, but there were multiple occasions where I figured out you could actually use a bubble bash on a slick, and it's actually kind of satisfying to do. In any case, I don't know if it's just me and being poor at a very specific kind of platforming, because I'm usually good at platforming in this game. I have the hardest time, the absolute hardest time, doing the platforming museum right here at the topmost level. I think part of it is that I'm pretty sure the platforms are out of sync, and I never want to actually wait for the platforms to line up. So I end up trying to make jumps that I can't actually make. Particularly right here. These last few lights hang from the ceiling. Yeah, see, I want to jump, but it doesn't seem like the timing works out at all. In any case, what we need now is not just that artwork at the end. I'm not even going to question the fact that the artwork stolen from the museum is hidden in the museum. At this point, we're just stealing art from the museum. But there's also a sock on the left. That's all you need to get top here. I'm not even going to bother going through the change to advanced darkness because, well, we already done everything there, so no reason to go through the door, or pipe, I guess. So what we're going to do is pop, sock. And now all I have to do is pick up the one spatula we don't have yet. Edit that out.
Last piece of
And we'll
artwork
have
accounted
everything that
for,
we need.
Mrs. Puff.
Well now,
There you go. I said that slightly after the spatula appeared instead of when it appeared. I'm not used to the timing of spatulas appearing like that. I've only tried somewhat unsuccessfully. But that's going to be it for the very successful and convenient rock bottom. I like how that one goes. It's something that really raises the spirits after the rumor layer and how poor that was. So we're going to move on to Sand Mountain after this, which is mostly also pretty good. Even though I make some mistakes recording it. Yeah.